As more and more units release, I think it's time to talk about this issue. In Wuthering Waves at the moment we have several 5-star characters for every weapon type, except this one. We have 3 Broadblade users, 2 Sword users, including the MC, 5 Rectifier users, 3 Gauntlet users, and 0 Pistol users. And something tells me that the upcoming 5-star Camellia is not going to wield guns. Let's say it doesn't suit her vibes and her attacks shown in the story. Yet 3 of the currently available 4-stars are pistol users. Why is it so? Why is there such a big imbalance between weapon types? I'll try to speculate a bit on this topic. And of course, as the Great Berry Gatherer I am, I already have the answer. Actually, Jinzhou is obviously based on China. And as we all know, in China they have very strict gun control laws. And characters wielding guns in Wu happen to be either members of organizations related to the government, who probably got the proper permission, or individuals from a secret organization, who probably get guns through their own means. Wuthering Waves is so good at cultural representation. The matter is solved. As usual, I have shown you the truth. This is the end of the video, bye! Alright, I'm going to talk about this glaring issue very seriously. Actually, I'm always very serious. You just never notice it. You think it's all sarcasm. But is it actually, So, there is a question that I have been asking myself for a while. Why are there so few pistol users in Wu? There are only 3 of them, and 2 of them are supports or sub-DPS. Why didn't we get any 5-star gun wielders, while getting a whole bunch of Rectifier users? I think the main reason for this is the fact that pistol gameplay seems kinda undercooked, not as refined as other weapon types. And Kura are fully aware of this. As guns are the longest range weapon, they allow you to deal consistent damage with the lowest level of risk. With swords and broad blades, you have to get up in the enemy's ass to deal damage, and you have to dodge and parry, or else the enemy will do unspeakable things to you. You are constantly taking a risk of getting hit, or even one-shot, when playing characters with these weapons. You have to constantly use the core combat mechanics of Wu, dodges and parries. Rectifier users are not that different, but the characters we currently have are mid-range units, which allows them to stay further away from the enemies. But with that, they can still parry and take full advantage of this mechanic. However, these units tend to feel clunkier, and Rectifier users usually take the role of supports or off-field DPS. With guns you still need to dodge, of course, but they allow you to avoid many enemy mechanics by simply staying far away and shooting the bastard. This advantage comes at a price. The gun gameplay is 50% more boring. Yes, I measured it exactly. My data are always 100% precise. Pistol gameplay is not as engaging, because you are mostly blocked from using one of the core game mechanics, parries. You can't parry with your normal attacks, so you can only parry if you manage to land some of your skills correctly. And landing a parry is one of the most satisfying things in Wuthering Waves combat, in my opinion. I fully intended to main Chisha in the beginning, but she just didn't feel very fun to play. Alas, I abandoned her, because playing melee characters just felt more enjoyable. But not being able to parry with normal attacks is not the issue. It makes sense that bullets can't block enemy strikes, after all. The problem is that the charged attacks of all pistol characters are absolutely useless in combat. There is no reason why you would stand there and charge it up, doing nothing, getting hit, just to deal minuscule damage. And now they are also useless in the open world, as we got a shooting drone. Their aerial attacks are also pretty useless. They just shoot forward while slowly descending and increasing the chances of getting hit if you're stupid enough to use it in combat. And while charged and aerial attacks of melee characters have unique flavor, the pistol characters have the same animation. This is boring. All these aspects lead to less satisfactory experience playing pistol characters. No wonder Kuro don't release 5-star characters of this type. If nothing in their mechanics is changed, this character will be much more limited in terms of gameplay than other 5-star units. So I will speculate that the next pistol character to release will either be a support or an experimental DPS unit made to test new mechanics. But I have some suggestions on how pistol characters could be changed to make them more in line with other units, while still preserving the unique feel to their gameplay. Of course, I'm not a game designer and I can suggest something stupid, alright? But I speak from a player's perspective. There are 2 main routes Kuro could take. The first one is to give pistol characters a stand or an alt mode when they use melee attacks. The second one is to change the 2 boring attacks to make them more fun and adjust some animations to make them more interesting and unique. The first option, while potentially fun, would destroy the uniqueness of pistol characters. They would become similar to rectifier users that can basically have any kind of weapon, be it a huge brush, a puppet, or some butterfly space magic. I'm not opposed to an idea of a pistol character that throws away their guns and starts beating up enemies, but I don't want all pistol characters to be like that. The other way would be more satisfying in my opinion. Leave the range normal attacks that can't parry, but discard the aiming mode and completely replace it with a new heavy attack. Well, aiming mode can stay, but it shouldn't be bound to holding down the normal attack button. Just make it completely separate thing for the use in the open world or something. The heavy attack, unlike basic attacks, should be able to parry, and it should be easier to time than skills. It can also have different flavor for different characters. It can be a melee strike, where the character charges at the enemy and kicks them in the face. Or it can be a powerful shot, or they can throw a grenade or something, and so on and so forth. Letting the charge attacks parry consistently would give pistol characters the opportunity to consistently take advantage of one of the core combat mechanics, while still making parries somewhat harder to perform with guns than with other weapon types, as a trade-off for the range advantage they give. It also opens up the opportunity to introduce combo mechanics, where the charge attack changes depending on how many normal attacks or skills you landed before it, and so on. This, in my opinion, would be a good solution for the lackluster aiming mode. And the aerial attack could be handled similarly. It should be changed to something more interesting and more specific to each character. Instead of just shooting while slowly falling, it could be a single powerful shot, after which character slams into the ground and damages enemies similarly to Chun-Li, for example. Or it could be a series of aerial shots with different animations, or character could use a melee weapon in the air. Anything would be better than this boring stuff we currently have. And finally, normal attacks too can be more interesting than just shooting at the enemy. They could incorporate changing the weapon on the go, kicks, AoE shots, and other fun stuff like this. And you get a lot of potential for creating interesting and fun kits. Just changing the aiming mode and aerial attacks, that happen to be the same for all pistol characters and pretty boring, would make a lot of difference. It would make pistol characters more enjoyable and fun to play. And I hope that Kuro are taking so long to release a new 5-star pistol character because they want to make that unit more interesting than the ones we currently have. That's my take on the issue, and if you have thoughts of your own, I'd be happy to read them in the comments. You can even call me stupid, I allow you, so that's all, bye bye.